Hi guys, welcome back to another Daily Tarot card. These are your Daily Tarot cards for Friday, March 10th, 2023. Today we're pulling from the Nightmare Before Christmas Tarot cards. We have the 10 of Potions, so unconditional love, is in the air. And I feel like, some of us are going through this like kind of earthquake energy where like everything is being shaken up and it's just like, well, where do we stand? How do we move forward? Knowledge is power, and they're saying you don't know the whole story here. They were showing the high priestess. They're showing that sickle, that crescent. So, I feel like with the full moon of Virgo will give us some grounding energy. I keep saying to Yahweh and Yeshua, I trust you. I believe in you. I know even though I don't know what's going on here, you will guide me. They always have. This is like the same energy with Shane. It's like we had no idea what was going to go on. We had no idea how we're going to carry forward. We had no idea, you know? And slowly things started going in our favor. There were some ups and downs. But I feel like, especially with that devil card that we got in reverse, you know what I mean? I feel like it's removing people, places, and things from our life. I feel like it's just like, you want to know information? Be quiet and listen. People are talking, things are changing. It's like you're gathering more and more information. And it's like you're going to be able to understand what's going on from there. There's always two sides of a story. You know what I mean? So it's just like, in this case, there's three. So, you know, it's just like, being kind to yourself, rejuvenate your energy. You know what I mean? Especially if you're like myself and it's been like freaking retrograde. It's like, I just went through it on the weekend with Saturday with Shane's, the dates just played out exactly how it happened 6 years ago. And then it's just like this hit. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like this full moon energy here, I feel like even though we're in Virgo right now, full moon, I feel like this is going forward. But I feel like they're saying like the light of the moon. They always say nothing can hide in the light of the moon. And I feel like that's the biggest thing where it's just like sit there, pay attention to what's going on around you, and you will have the knowledge that you need. Or have the world card here. We have a decision to make. Here they're presenting four doors. Literally before I started reading for Instagram, they were showing that you have to make a decision here. You have to make a choice here. And for me, like logically, because I love certain people in my life because it's just like I'm a very emotional person. This person is not emotional like I am, which I love that yin and yang balance because they spit facts. You know what I mean? They said factual things that resonated. They're like X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I wasn't able to see that, and maybe that's why where I'm not a good ally at this point because it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, I think with my emotions rather than logic. You know what I mean? So I love the logic of that. And I'm like, you're right. And I keep telling myself that, you know what I mean? When my heart, I have a big loving heart. And it's just like, when I was 21, we were in this scenario. You know what I mean? Like, I thought he was happy, but I guess I was wrong. You know what I mean? So, it's like you really don't know what's going on with someone, you know? But it's just like, right now, this is the best thing. Even though it hurts a lot, it sucks. You know what I mean? That's why I respect this person a lot because it's just like they're just spitting facts. They're just like this, and I'm like, you're right. That's where we have to listen. You know what I mean? It's not always like I'm not trying to make it about myself. I just was telling them and they listened and they're like, you're right. But then I had to listen. It's like feel what you're feeling, but you gotta listen. You know what I mean? Like, because that's what the universe needed you to hear. Even though you feel this way and your heart hurts right now, things will get better in time, you know, because of this. They're in the right place. And it's like, you're right. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's like making that decision. And I feel like even though, like, they're saying unconditional love, it's like the best way I could be a love and support system for this person is by sitting there and letting the professionals do what they need to do, you know? Even though it kills me. This really rocked me. Like, you know. But she's spitting facts. Ace of Potions. And I feel like this is where it's like rejuvenating your cup. So, like, a lot of people have been reaching out there like this. And I'm like, you know what? No offense, but I'm going through something right now. And I'm no good to you like this. You know? I don't want to sit there and, exhaust myself even further, but at the same time, I never want to give someone false messages. I don't want to pretend like, this is, I probably could tap into it, but it's just like, I'm going to need my energy, moving forward. And it's just, you know what I mean? To make logical decisions. I'm getting better. I'm not as exhausted as I was. But it's just like, when you go through this kind of freaking tower moment where it rocks the foundation and shifts everything, it's just like, be silent. Do your Reiki healing, do your energy plucking, do your meditation. My son's been yelling at me. He's like, Mom, do your meditation. I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it, But tomorrow's going to be very meditative. But it's just like, sometimes as a healer, when you go through things, you know what I mean, that everybody doesn't see. You get a glimpse into things. But it's just like, me at least, I don't want to sit there and perform services or be advice to people when I'm not thinking logically, when I'm thinking out of emotion, Page of Pentacles, I love because here's another grounding force, but we've been getting him for a while, 3 weeks time. So this is the end of March. You know what I mean? So this shift had to happen for the things to come forward. And this is where they're like, you're going to have to make a decision here. So they reminded me back when I was 21, I made a decision and it wasn't the best decision. You know what I mean? I felt like that should have been the point of something happening there. You know what I mean? I feel like all of us just felt it was this, but, we should have saw it for what, like now we see it for what it was. These are the reasons. Even 14, we should have seen those things. There was, it was something bigger than we even realized. You know what I mean? And now it's come to the surface in a horrible way, So it's just like, this is where it's just like, all due respect to everybody, but it's like, I'll keep doing what I need to do, but, I'm not going to sit there. I would never, ever sit there and read for someone or offer advice or anything like that from a false place. Like, or a place lacking in an energy or lacking in knowledge, without the universe's backing. You know what I mean? So I honestly got to watch what I do right now as I move forward, because I have a funny feeling, just people's selfishness, so I got to be careful. But that's what I'm saying with you, protect yourself, Maybe what I'm going through, by the grace of God, isn't resonating with you, which is totally fine. If you don't feel that shakeup, everything's in a peaceful place, that's great. Unconditional love's around you. Even if it's just yourself, it's like the way you treat yourself, that is unconditional love. This is the longest relationship. If you do resonate with Yahweh, Yeshua, Universe, Gaia, Mother Earth, Creator, with yourself, whomever you create with, or whoever you resonate with, is like yourself and them, is going to be the longest relationship you're going to have. In this time, do not feel, embarrassed, to talk to the universe. Even in good time, that's the biggest thing. Like, don't forget me when things are good. Don't forget me when you prayed for certain things, and that's the biggest thing I could do. Like, I've seen the power of prayer, and it's like the biggest thing I could do is pray. That's what I'm going to do. I woke up this morning, thank Yahweh and Yeshua for another day. I said to myself, this is going to be a good day. Things are going to change. Yesterday was exhausting as hell, but today is going to be a good day. Every day, in every way, my life keeps getting better and better. The biggest way you can change, and I know it sounds like garbage, but I'm telling you, when you sit there and start to put and say positive things into your life will shift. When you sit there, I will tell you, I'm like, when that energy where you feel like you won the lottery, like you're just dancing around, having a good time. It's like everything's in a good place. You know what I mean? Is it exactly how you wanted life? No, but you know what? In that moment, you're happy. This mother effing shadow side just said the most nasty thing. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, you know what I mean? It's like an annoying, nagging person. That's what shadow energy is. It's just like, shut the F up. Like, you know what? You have no place in this place. This is my bubble, and let me enjoy my bubble. You know what I mean? It's just like, That's how you change yourself. Bring the outdoors in. I got a daffodil, I got, I think it's a yellow tulip. It hasn't bloomed yet, so I'm pretty sure it's yellow. But, and a purple, I have no idea what it is, but it was like, it's bloomed and it's like breaking out my allergies, so I had moved it in the kitchen. But it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, bring that in. It's like spring isn't like on the 23rd. It's like, bring those things in. The birds will start being around. We'll start seeing robins. Like, if you're in Canada, it's like, long awaited, spring is here. It's like, it's like, we need this. We've had snow since November. But it's just like, even in the fact of like my situation, it's like rebirth, hope, it's, possibilities. It's like, you know what I mean? More light in the world. And, that's why I feel like things will move in a positive direction. It's like, as much as we'd like to fix things, it's like sometimes the biggest gift we can give people is letting the professionals do what they need to do. Allowing, you know what I mean? It's just like, this is out of my wheelhouse, and I'm never going to be ashamed to say that. If I even tell people that, they're like, can you pull in this person specifically? And I'm like, I will do my very best. I never promise anyone anything. I'm like, I will do my best. I'm like, this person came in. They may show images of the person you're looking for, but they may not say anything because they don't feel safe to communicate with me. I've had that before. I literally had someone come in. They're like, we wanted to see if you're going to rip them off or not. Someone was sending me payment before the reading. I'm like, okay, I'm getting ready for your reading. I think I was doing a daily or reading or doing devotion before her reading, and she sent payment. Or she was sending it ahead of time. I was like, I'm going to read for you this day. And literally like 4 or 5 payments came in from the same person. And I was like, what? That's weird. So I'm like, okay. And it just kept happening. And I'm like, is this a glitch? You know what I mean? So I was just like, all right. So I was just like, okay. It was like the 5th one. I'm like, okay, this is getting out of hand. So I took a screenshot and I sent it to her. And I said, listen, I said, I don't know what's going on. I said, but all these came in. I said, this is the price. I said, this is overpaid. She's like, no, keep it as a tip. I'm like, no, that's way too much. I'm like, no. This is when I first started out, like, taking payments. And I'm like, it's too much. I'm like, I can't do that. I'm like, I don't feel comfortable, And she's just like, okay. She's like, well, let's see what happens. She goes, I sent it from one account. She goes, I just realized one account is closed. I was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, all right. And she goes, I'm like, I said, let's do this. I said, let's give it a couple days. I said, we'll still do your reading and we'll see what happens. And she's like, sounds good. I kid you not. The most potent person in her life that really resonates with her, well, 2 of them, but this one in particular is like her bestie, came through and they said, I wanted to see if you were going to rip her off. And I was just like, huh? I was like, okay. And they told me a bunch of things and I gave her a reading and she's just like, oh my gosh. You know what I mean? But it's just like, like fast forward like a couple days later, all of a sudden I get a note, this payment was not successful. I was like, okay. So it's like when it came like down to it, she paid me once, but the other ones, because she wasn't sure what account was open or not. So, like, she just didn't remember which one was with the PayPal. She had a bunch of them on there. She's like, I knew it was one of them. She goes, I just didn't know which one. And I'm like, okay. So I screenshot her. I said, when those started coming in, and I'm just like, just so you know, that this is going on. She's like, okay. So when it all finally was said and done, the one payment went through, and I screenshot it again. She's like, yep. She's like, that's cool. And then she tipped me, and I'm like, you don't have to. I'm like, it's cool. I'm like, this is the first reading. She's like, no. She's like, this was really good. But, you know what I mean? It's just like, I feel like everybody should be like that, but you know what I mean? People are going to message, oh, you know what? I have messages from your past loved ones. You know what I mean? And it's like, I didn't reach out to you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't ask you to read for me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know you. I have done that with certain people. I've said, I don't expect nothing. I don't want nothing. I said, this came through. It was very potent. And I send them the message. I'm like, you don't need to reply. You don't need to confirm anything. I said, I just wanted you to know this because it came through. And I send it off. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it's like they gave me those messages for a reason. But as, like, you know what I mean? Especially now with the age of TikTok, it's like, it's even worse. Where they'll sit there and it's like, I will, like, even recording this video, they'll sit there and copy it and make a video of it and they'll call it something else, like GolgothaInDarkness, this is, or something, Golgotha's, or, and, You know what I mean? They'll make another name. That's why it's great to put your name through everything, watermark it and everything. But it's just like, I always ask people for permission, but I feel like I've gotten to the point where if they ask me for a reading, I'm like, that's permission for me to go in their energy, because especially when I get like a bunch at once, it's like, okay, you know what I mean? I'm like, I will message you, it'll say reading, and I'm like, boom, it's going to come in. I'm like, you'll get voice clips, you will get pictures of cards, you'll get images from Google and stuff like that of people that may resonate in your life or your past life or something like that. So it's just like, but that's just an example of where it's just like spirit also needs trust. It's like has to be a free flowing, conversation. And if you're resistant, it makes it harder. It's like you have to give as much as the energy as the healer is doing. You know what I mean? They're sitting there telling you this, but if you sit there, I don't want you to know X, 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 and it's like, you know what I mean? They're like, we'll only tell you this. Me, I'll tell you everything. It's like, I may not say it in the best articulated way as spirit would say it. I'm just like, listen, this is the way spirit is saying it. This is not me, because I usually will I would spin it a little bit better than that. I wouldn't be so harsh, and that's what I will say. Forgive me, X, Y, and Z. But people appreciate that. They're like, okay, I know exactly what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Because maybe that's how their loved one talked, So it's just like, everybody's different. So with the 10 of Potions, what I love about this is like unconditional love. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's the biggest thing. I love the essence, coming out of, or it's like, burning a candle, the smoke of the candle, but I feel like essence. And I just feel like it's just, that's where I feel like right now, if you're going through like the same kind of energy I am, it's just like, you know what I mean? That unconditional love around you. And it's not just the people that we could physically see. It's our ancestors. Like, I literally was asking my dad and Shane to be with this person. I'm like, I don't know what they're going through. I said, I know exactly how they feel, because I felt that way 6 years ago. Not exactly what they went through. You know what I mean? I freaking really feel for them. You know what I mean? But I'm like, I don't even care. It's not, I don't sit there and be like, oh, you did this in the past, or I'm not that person. You know what I mean? I don't ever want to see anyone hurt. Well, there's certain, anyone that knows me, they know who I'm talking about. But it's just like, it's just like, be with them right now. I woke up this morning, I'm like, I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you wake up and have some good breakfast, and, just start to, this journey, that he so desperately needs. An important relationship, and this was where I feel like it really resonated for myself. Friendship or family connection is finding its stride. You both feel supported, understood, and appreciated. Nurture this connection, and remember to give as much as you take to maintain balance. For me, it's just like, I even spoke to someone very candidly, and I'm like, I don't want this to turn out to this. I'm not fighting with you anymore. It's not good for my health. It's not good for your health. I said, I don't want to fight about this. I just want the best for you. You know what I mean? And I don't feel like this is the right way, because it's just going to get worse. So let's just sit there and fucking find a way to get through this. I don't know what the way forward with this is, but this isn't it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, let's just go from there. Let's see what happens. So analyze complex or confusing situation. And that's what I said to myself. I said, I don't understand what's going on right now. And I trust Yahweh and Yeshua. Even though I don't understand, it's killing me right now. But it's just like, I don't understand it, but I will do as, you command, as you guide me. You know what I mean? It's just like, how do I move forward with this? You know what I mean? And the biggest thing is like, we had Purim. And it's like, the one of the things we do is give for charities. You know what I mean? Like, that's the biggest part of this. It's like, sharing of food, but also like with friends and family and celebrations and, wine. But it's also like, for me, the way I resonate with Purim is the strength of Esther. Everybody resonates with things differently. For me, it's just like, even though she didn't know her way forward in that situation or how her actions would change the situation, she still tried, and that's the way I say to myself. Even when it doesn't turn out the way I thought, I'm like, you know what? At least I tried. At least I put the effort into it. Even though it didn't turn in my favor, there's a reason for that. Maybe it wasn't meant for me, Just like the whole situation with Shane. I'm like, you know what? Even though these things turned out that way, it's like, it's fine by me, because it's just like, whatever is meant for me will be in my life. You know what I mean? Whatever is not, it's like there's a reason for that, you know? And eventually you will get those reasons. Are things as really as they seem to be? And that's the biggest thing. Are things really what they seem to be? And universe has been saying that. Is this actually what's going on here? With the high priestess, and she's showing that sickle, and I feel like that's like a timestamp. But I feel like with the high priestess, like, be patient, be calm. You know what I mean? Let balance be restored. Balance yourself, and I feel like self love for yourself. It's just like, be patient with yourself, and also sit there and don't waste your energy on things. Like, you're purging a lot right now, and I feel like there's a major purge. With and like they were saying, like, a leveling up. You know what I mean? So it's just like, we don't understand how we move forward from here, but it's like trusting that this will have a happy conclusion. This is for a reason. This is like, logically looking at this, it's like 14. Like, something should have been done then. You know what I mean? Like, I know we can sit there and bring people to solutions, and it's up to them what they do with it. You know what I mean? But, it's just that pattern. That's the biggest thing, is trusting. But that's what I'm saying. High Priestess is very potent right now, and I feel like that's what they're saying. Be patient. The truth will come to the light. Biggest thing, be silent. Because honestly, not even 24 hours, they started changing things. And I'm like, huh? I'm like, wait. I'm like, okay. And then I had discussed it, and they're like, yeah, XYZ. I was like, oh, for frick's sake. Beware of deception and listen to your instincts. They know the truth. That's why the alarms are going off in your head. It's just like, no. This is not how it played out, There's a common denominator here, and it's just, So the world, you've done it. You've come so far, been through so much, and learned so many powerful lessons along the way. You feel satisfied, happy, and whole. Consider sharing your experience with others. You have the ability to inspire people. This is why I share my experiences. Sometimes it's like, why is she talking about that? Don't resonate with me. I get that on TikTok. And I'm like, that doesn't resonate with you? I get the same thing. Listen to healers. That message doesn't resonate for me. It's not meant for me. But I like the healer. I like their truth. I like their honesty. I like the words they say. They also say Yahweh and Yeshua. So I'm like, okay, we resonate on that level. It's like we both talk about Yahweh and Yeshua, so we really, I connect with them in that way. I love their energy. I love their essence about them. You know what I mean? I love the way that they like myself, we talk. We get cards, but we also talk. You know what I mean? So it's just like, this is how you grow as a healer. When you start, it's cards. I feel like I'm a storyteller. I've been a storyteller for as long as I can remember. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I let the cards tell the story. And that's why I'm like, okay, this is how it resonates for me. This is how it's resonating with my experiences. Maybe you're going through the same thing. That's why I feel like, this is the gift of sharing. It's like, I went through this, maybe you're going through something similar. The biggest thing with it, I think it was Instagram, was when they were talking about how when Shane passed, I immediately went on Facebook, looked for a support group, because it's like, I don't know, by the grace of God, I don't know, like, I know a couple, I know one that really stands out, but it's like, I haven't talked to them in years. It's like, let's share stories of woe, you know what I mean? But, like I had this, felt like an elephant was sitting on my chest, and I was just like, oh my God, am I having a heart attack as well? You know what I mean? Like, what the hell's going on here? And they said, no, that's just part of it. They're like, your body is going through all these reactions, shock, freaking, your nerves are shot, so you're shaking and you're constantly cold. Your mind is racing a mile a minute. It doesn't feel like it because it feels like you're in a fog, but it's like it's racing a mile a minute. Like, you're basically burning yourself out. You know what I mean? Because your body's just like overloaded with all these things. Denial is the hugest thing. It's like, you wake up and you're just like, this is my life. It's like, takes a while for acceptance. But the widow fog, And that anxiety is the hardest, you know? Once the anxiety left, that did ease things up, but that fog, once that lifted, that was game changing. It's like people try to step all over you still, and it's like, oh, no, 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 no. You know, I just wanted to avoid confrontation. That's where I was. I'm like, I've been through enough. You know what I mean? I don't know how I'm going to react. I have a bad temper. So it's just like, I don't know how I'm going to snap here. So I was just like, please just leave me alone. You know what I mean? But people like to provoke. So you're feeling inspired, creative, intuitive. Someone special may be entering the picture soon. So we got the Knight of Cups approaching. So water sign. And the thing is, before this all happened, I saw my dad. And I'm like, you know, and he looked worried, and he didn't look like happy at all. Like he would, you know what I mean? Like something was like, And I saw him before Shane passed too, in the summer, and that really rocked me. And I just saw him, and I'm like, okay. And then this went down. I'm like, wow. I'm like, freaking people, man. Someone special will be entering life. Whether this person ends up being a love interest or a great new friend, things are happening just as they should now. Stay cautious, stay curious, pay attention, and enjoy the moment. But I also feel like, you know, where, you know, you hear that pop when you open a wine. I hear that. I hear that pop. But I feel like something, like, you know what I mean? I don't feel like it's more as, you know, I don't know. Everybody opens wine for different reasons. People just enjoy it. I enjoy a good wine, especially a sparkling white wine, sweet sparkling white wine. Ice wine is my favorite, but it's just like, you know what I mean. I feel like in this sense of Ace of Cups, I feel like, especially how he's grasping the bottle, I feel like this is like universe holding you. You know what I mean? I feel like this is like in this time when you need the universe to back you up a lot, especially something where I'm going through. But like that's what I'm saying. Like if things are uncertain in your life, and it's like it feels like an earthquake because it's just like your ground is shaky. You know what I mean? So it's just like, okay, we don't know what's gonna happen here. So I feel like there's tremors, but I feel like it's slowly getting like, okay, it's safe. You know what I mean? How do we proceed? Like, let's see what the fallout is. Like, okay, like, you know, what's the game change here? You know what I mean? But I feel like the way that like they're really concentrating on the hand of Jack Skeleton here, and I just feel like it's like universe has you, and it's like you think of the Ace of Cups, and it's like for me the universe fills my cup, and I feel like it's just like with myself, I was so freaking exhausted, you know, from like bawling with Shane and bawling with this. Now it's just like, you know, wrapping your head around the whole situation. It's like, you know, I was there supporting someone else, and then it just hit me. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, I was on the phone with someone. I'm just like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I am so sorry. They're just like, it's okay. I need to know these things. I'm like, no, you don't. You know what I mean? But it's just like, you know, it just being sitting there and just, that's why I feel like with myself, it's just replenish myself so I could be helpful for this person. You know what I mean? And it's just like the biggest support I could be is that unconditional love. It's like, what do you need? Like, how can I help you in this? How can I support you in this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I agree that's where you need to be. Not the way that you went there, but I agree that that's what you need. You need to be there to get the help that you need. You know what I mean? I can't do it. I don't have those skills. I wish I did. I wish I had a magic wand and poof, it's gone, you know? But this is this life, unfortunately, you know? That's where it really pulls at my heart. Is just like, it was already freaking, you know what I mean? Try to forget the past, but it's just like, you know, it just, that's what I mean. It's just like, that's why I always tell people, especially my children, I'm like, please be kind to people. You know what I mean? Me, I wasn't taught these things, but it doesn't excuse my behavior, and that's why I try to teach my children to be better. It's like, do not treat people this way. Do not act this way. You know what I mean? Be better than me. Be better than your dad. You know what I mean? Like, we want you to be, you know, get good people. And for the most part, they are. It's just like they say some, you know what I mean? They see it on YouTube and everything. Oh, it's fine. No, it's not. You know? No. You feel inspired, creative, intuitive, and so. Okay, we already read all this. Pay attention. But I feel like this is definitely where the universe is like, I know someone that's going through something. And I'm just like, how can I be supportive of them in this way? I'm just like, you're doing the right thing. You're getting the help that you need. You're in the right place, and like, let's get to it. So I'm like, anxiety is the worst. So it's just like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't want to sit there and say anything because I have no idea what's going on. You know what I mean? So it's just like, for someone else. And I'm just like, it's the worst. You're in the right place. Let's get to the problem with this. How can we fix you? You know what I mean? How can we fix this situation? So going to the page of presents. You have been stuck with a great idea when you least expected, even woken up with a brilliant new, I hate this word, scheme or plan for success. I don't like scheme. Scheme sounds sleazy. The page of presents represents someone who's feeling a sudden burst of creativity and potentially lucrative inspiration. It's time to bring this brilliant new version to life. Stay excited for this journey, but be cautious. You never know what surprises may wait for you. I don't feel like in a negative way. I feel like this is like the white heart where they're guiding us through this before we lead to this beautiful moment. And I feel like this is what the energy we're in right now. They're guiding us through this forest. We there's going to be allies. There's going to be enemies. And I definitely see the enemies. I'm like, y'all are just being nosy and you're not adding to anything to this situation. So bugger off. You know what I mean? Stay the frig out of it because you're not going to add anything positive to it and you're going to make it worse. So right now, just piss off. You know what I mean? Like, unless you're adding to the situation in a positive way, don't even try to, tiptoe up in here. You know what I mean? It's just, people just really tick me off. It's like, you're not here for a positive reason. You're just here to gossip. So it's just like, get out of here. Like, we see you. Like, we're not dumb. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I feel like this is where you're going through this and it will lead to something. And I feel like, that crescent, that crescent moon, that new moon energy into the full moon, things will really come full circle and you'll see that change. I feel like it's just going to take some time here. The rest of March to like, you know what I mean? Settle, like they're saying, settle things. You know what I mean? It's just like, let the ground settle, let everything settle, So that's all we can do. That's the thing. When you don't know what to do, don't do nothing. Me, it's just like they're like, okay, do this, this, this. We're like, we did that, and it's just like, I named some things off that they possibly may need, and I'm like, ask if they want those things, we'll bring them. You know what I mean? So it's just like there's certain ways that you can support and love people and help them without making the situation worse. It's like you are safe, and that's the biggest thing. You are safe, trust the process, and let's just deal with this once and for all. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, I'm beginning to see, like, why, It's just, that's what I'm saying. Just listen right now. I'm telling you, Just listen right now, and everything, you will understand everything, That's why it's just like, when you have those beautiful moments, like they were saying, like, I was literally looking at the Nine of Cups, and it's just like, if we can bottle this moment forever, we wish we could. You know what I mean? I wish, bibbity bobbity boo, you wish you could fix everything, but you can't. This is where we learn. This is where we learn. We are learning the people around us. We are learning situations around us. We're learning. We're constantly learning and evolving. You know what I mean? This is where the leveling up will happen. And this is where anyone tells you, oh, it's such a great journey. It's like, no, it's not. It is freaking emotional. It's draining. It's exhausting. It's like, uncle, where's the bell? But where's the tap out? Like, oh my gosh. No, there's no tapping out in this. You know what I mean? It's just learning how to react to certain things. You know what I mean? This is where they're just like, you need to listen to yourself. Go and rest. Go relax. Go get your R&R. You've been, it's been a lot. So let's go get some R&R. It's been days now. Let's, it is what it is right now. Let's just let the dust settle and we'll move on from there. That's all you can do, Don't try to be extra right now. Don't try to add sprinkles. No. That's why they showed me the past. They're like, remember what you happened there? And I'm like, yep. Nope. You know? It's like we waited 6 weeks. It's like, oh, what are we doing here? We're doing nothing. Great. Now it turned into a problem for 2 years. You know? It's just like, no. You know? So I just, if you're, it's rocky, just sit there and just try to, like I said, ground yourself. Just ride it out. Don't do nothing crazy right now. Be silent, be still, listen to people. I know there's a couple people going through some physical changes here. It's just like, if you need professional help, get professional help. Because you know what? We think we know everything and we don't. You know what I mean? It's just like, that's what they're paid the big dollars for these situations right here. Get the help that you need. And that way you can bounce back even higher. You can come back even stronger. Don't take this as a knockout. This is this is the beginning of your comeback, and you will be bigger and better for it. You may not see it right now, but you will be. So take that time for yourself. So I hope you guys enjoyed these daily tarot cards for Friday, March 10th, 2023. May the universe bless you good. Have a safe and happy weekend. We'll see you for the next daily tarot card. Bye.